agenda is a trainer introduction. The modules covered by ZaranTech in the SAP FICO training program. Something about the course, an introduction to FICO. What are the salary trends you could expect? The job trends and the job market. And finally, a question answer. So what is the modules covered in SAP's FICO training? You all have all said you'll have working experience, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So when you look at a finance department or an accounting department, and if I ask you to break it up into various areas of responsibility, what would be the areas that you all will think of? Anyone?
So area in the sense, what into the general ledger?
Yes.
Intercompany process, payroll accounting, cash and bank accounting.
Very good. Anyone else would like to try? Anyone else? Come, we must make this interactive. You all will get more out of it and understand what you all are getting into. Anyone?
Accounts receivable, accounts payable, asset
Very
management.
Good. Okay. So since you all have all worked and you all are coming with working experience, the setup of SAP FICO will not be so something new to you, because as basically SAP has taken what you expect or how a company works and broken it up accordingly. So in finance, SAP has general ledger, accounts payable, accounts receivable, asset accounting. And these are the modules which we'll be covering. There will be other finance modules like treasury management and real estate management, which will not be part of this course. But very much the same as how departments are broken up in real life, in business. Now, in SAP, when we look at SAP FICO, FI means finance, CO stands for controlling. So finance is and controlling. Finance is the statutory books of accounts. Controlling is the management accounting. Does anyone know the difference between financial accounting and management accounting? Anyone? When we say financial accounting in SAP, we are referring to the statutory books of accounts where a company is bound to keep by legal and law. That means when you have depreciation, depreciation has to be charged if it's Indian depreciation according to the Income Tax Act, which says this is the percentage of depreciation you have to charge. Controlling, on the other hand, is management accounting, which is not bound by any legal restrictions. The management decides how they want their reports done, how they want, because legally you have to prepare your profit and loss in a certain way. You have to prepare your balance sheet in a certain way. You have to report your segments a certain way. Under controlling, a company can decide how they want the information to flow to help their managers to make decisions. So, as the first part, when we are doing this SAP FICO course, we'll be doing the general ledger, accounts payable, accounts receivable, and asset accounting. These are the, for someone coming into SAP, these are the four main areas which you will be expected to know. Second part would be controlling. And controlling will be doing something called cost element accounting, cost center accounting, period end activities, internal orders, profit center accounting, profitability analysis, COPA, and product costing. Now, going ahead, since we are on this slide, I'll jump ahead a little bit and I'll tell you there are about 95% of people working in SAP are, after a few years, are experts in the finance module. That is general ledger, AR, AP, assets. They'll do cash bank. They'll be very clear on these. They will also have good ideas of accounting, cost center accounting, internal orders, profit center accounting. But the two areas, if a person masters in SAP, he will be very prized and he will be very highly paid. One is understanding profitability analysis, COPA, and product costing. These are two highly prized areas of SAP, where anyone who's an expert in these two areas can expect to have a very good career. Okay? Now, SAP is very integrated with with other modules, other streams. So the third part of this course will take you through the integration of finance with material management, integration with sales and distribution. So three main areas: finance, controlling, integration, and then we'll be covering a few other topics like validation and substitution, sales tax, year-end closing. There's a certain process to how you close your books in SAP. You'll be going through that. You'll be doing a BAP methodology. You'll be doing financial statement versions. Financial statement versions, when we say we mean balance sheet, we mean profit and loss. We'll have some real-time scenario discussion. We'll have trading partners. We do the new general ledger. And we'll be doing a lot of configuration. So, to keep it, to sum it up, SAP FICO is finance and controlling. Finance is the statutory books, accounts, the maintenance of it. Controlling is the management, accounting system, which each company will have its own very unique way of reporting. Now, what would be the objectives of this course? The objective of this course, by the end of it, you will learn the basic concepts and fundamentals of finance and controlling modules. You'll learn about the general ledger, accounts payable, bank accounting, fund management and its application in finance analysis. You learn about the business process and how the FI module works in R3. I will take you all a little bit through business process before we, what is a business process and what to expect from it. Apply implementation, training, and integration with other modules. Now, the prerequisites, it is recommended that trainees should have the following. Candidates do not require any specific requirements to take up this course, except a basic background in information technology. On one hand, while this is true, if you're working in the SAP FICO area, you will need to know accounting. Because at the end of the day, you have to leverage your accounting knowledge to do and understand what the client requirements are. So an accounting knowledge would be helpful if you're doing this, taking up a career in SAP FICO, or you'll have to acquire it at the site.
Hey, you know, ZaranTech now offers SAP corporate training. That's right. Train your workforce in SAP with our comprehensive program. We offer customized courses, certified trainers, and hands-on labs for both individuals and businesses. Our standout features: bespoke training, fully configured servers for practice, in-house materials, and a dedicated LMS. Plus, get session recordings and 24/7 support. From functional to technical modules, we have got it all. Choose ZaranTech for SAP training and watch your team excel. Learn, upskill, succeed with ZaranTech.
So who should take up this course? Analytic professionals desirous of excelling in the field of accounting and finance, IT developers, testers, data analysis, BI and reporting professionals, project managers, data scientists. You can see a lot of data analysis and a lot of analytics in who should take up this course. Basically, at the back end of SAP is a lot of tables. Your ability to extract data is what makes you important to a business. How well the data is extracted, what kind of reports are generated, what kind of analysis can be done with the data at hand. So basically, when it comes down to it, if you're a finance professional looking to go into a better career with a faster movement, SAP would be a good option. Now, about the course which is offered by ZaranTech, we offer training and certification options to aid trainees in enhancing their knowledge to the next level. We ensure that our experienced instructors will guide each trainee in upgrading their relevant skills and subject knowledge. Enrolled students will receive courseware assignment, lab case studies based on real-time scenarios. Enrolled students can access training blog and recorded videos of each session. So every time you sit in on a session, you maybe miss something. The session is recorded in a video and the video is posted. You can always revisit the session and go over what was done and revise it. So for every session, there's a video recording also taken. And that video recording is made available to you. So what does SAP FICO stand for? SAP FICO stands for FI Financial Accounting, CO Controlling in an SAP ERP. The SAP FICO is a module used for financial reporting both externally and internally. When we say externally, we are talking about financial accounting, because externally you have the stakeholders. That's what the information you give the shareholders. This is the information you give the sales tax office. This is the information from here, you give the information is generated for the income tax purposes. Controlling is basically internal reporting which the management needs to make decisions. The objective is to record all financial transactions that are posted by an entity and produce financial statements that are accurate at the end of the trading period. So, SAP FICO, external requirement, which is balance sheet, income statement, cash flow, tax statements. Internal, cost center reports, sales and profit analysis. Now, cost center reports is not required statutory requirement by any government or statutory body. That cost center report is something that would benefit the company and how well or how a certain area of theirs are doing. SAP FI module records and maintains financial transactions of an organization in real time on a daily basis and generates financial statements, balance sheet, profit and loss accounts, etc. for external reporting. Features: all accounting, data management and representation, open and integrated data flow between FI and the other components, preparing operational information to assist decision making. Now, in your opinion, where would FI module be expected to be integrated with what other module? Can anyone give the input on this? Where would information from FI module, what other module would it need, area would it flow into, or what other area would it flow from into FI? Anyone?
From like GL.
Yes.
GL, accounts payable, receivable.
Yes. Now, while it is accounts payable, accounts receivable in the FI module, the accounts payable will be your vendors, will be your material management. In SAP, that would be managed in a separate module. Accounts receivable, which is your customers, would be part also of the sales and distribution module. So while in FI it is accounts receivable, in SAP, much of the information would be in the sales and distribution module. The invoicing, the master data of customer master data, all this would be maintained in, while also there in the FI module will also be there in the sales and distribution module. So the modules have to be integrated with each other so the data will flow. Now, what are the sub-modules of SAP? We have the general ledger, and then we have the sub-ledgers flowing into it. So you have accounts payable, which is your vendor's account. You have accounts receivable, which is your customer-related accounts. You have asset accounting, and you have bank accounting. Very much the same as what you would expect to see or what you're working on currently. There, you'll have colleagues working on the general ledger. You will have certain colleagues which are responsibility would be making payments to vendors and managing vendors' account. You'll have certain colleagues who will be responsible for customer collections and sending out outstanding reports. So just like in a company working in any accounts department, your accounts department, you'll have colleagues who will be working on vendors' accounts. Their job would be to make payments to vendors, get their vendor invoice. Once they get their vendor invoice, enter it in the system. That will be someone's job. Accounts payable, receivable will be certain colleagues will be managing collections from customers, sending them outstanding statements to let them know that that this invoice is due. So very much the same. When you're looking at SAP sub-modules, you have the payables, which is your vendor accounts. You have accounts receivable, your customer accounts. You have asset accounting, and you have your bank accounting. All these sub-ledgers flow into the general ledger. So these are the three key. The first slide shows you three of the key modules: general ledger, accounts payable, accounts receivable. Then you go into bank accounting, you have asset accounting, you have travel management. These are all the modules in SAP. We will not be covering travel management in this course, and we'll be touching on asset accounting and bank accounting. Now, CO. When you come into SAP, you will have you'll come in as a SAP FICO consultant at the first. Then it becomes a choice whether you will be an FI consultant or you'll graduate to being a CO consultant. Like I said, a CO consultant would be very priced if he's an expert. Will be very priced and very well paid and in great demand. SAP CO is one of the most important modules of the SAP system, as it provides the operational information to management for better decision-making process. So it takes care of all requirements of reporting. CO is management accounting, management reporting. It is not restricted by statutory laws and statutory requirements. A company can decide for itself, this is the information I want, and this is what I need to get. And this is the kind of expenses I need to track. This is the kind of revenue I need to track very carefully. It will depend on how they want it set up. So it's not bound by legal restrictions or legal requirements. Now, when we look at CO, we have what is called cost element accounting. We have cost center accounting, activity-based accounting, internal orders, product costing controlling, profitability analysis, and profit center accounting. So again, these are the main modules of SAP CO: cost center, product costing, profit center, and profit analysis.
I just want to understand, like you said, the travel accounting, right? As a sub-ledger, right? So
yes.
You will not be covering here, I know. But how does it relevant, like, and where it been used actually?
Travel management, as the modules, it's very much speaks for itself. This is where in a company you have a lot of traveling done.
Yeah, right.
People are always touring, going on-site visits. So travel management takes care of all that. All the trial requests, hotel bookings, reservations, number of days a person has traveled, air tickets, everything to do with travel management, all expenses you manage under travel management. You don't need travel management module. Not all companies use the travel management module, despite the fact they have traveling. People are traveling, but they don't need it. They will use the general ledger to go through everything. But if you have a company that wants to track the traveling of your staff, what is it costing you? You might want to implement the travel management module.
Okay.
But if you don't implement it, you can still use the general ledger, AR, and AP to do the same thing. Travel management just puts everything into one box, so you can get to it very fast.
Okay, so it is thinking like that covers under vendor.
Yes, because travel management will be, you'll have vendors, people you have to pay to, you'll have your employee who's making expenses who will end up, you will have to pay him at the end of the day. So it covers the payable and receivable modules as well as the general ledger and cash and bank. It is linked to all.
Okay.
Well, we will not be covering it. Actually, in my I worked on about 15, 20 projects. None of them had implemented travel management. I worked for BAT, British Tobacco Company. I worked for Novartis, Watsons. None of them implemented the travel management module. I'll tell you one thing from the start. When you do a SAP course, like I did an SAP course when I did it from Siemens, the authorized SAP agent, when I came into SAP. That just gives you the basic. No matter where you do learn SAP from, it will give you a basic understanding of SAP. You have to expand on that knowledge. There's a lot of self-learning in SAP to help your career to move on. And SAP is like a vast ocean. So there's no way anyone can teach you everything, and there's no way that anyone will know everything about SAP being so vast. So there's a lot of self-learning to be done when you decide on a career of SAP. It is not like working in an accounts department where I've done my BCom, I've done my MBA finance, and now I can do this thing for the rest of my life. SAP keeps evolving, so you have to keep evolving with SAP. Which is why if you are a graduate in commerce graduate or chartered, even you'll be getting salaries of 2-3 lakhs. Every year, if you're working in a company, you'll get an increment of 2%, 3% is the normal increment you get. In consulting, increments are not taken as flat 100 rupees or 250 rupees, depending on your grade. It goes on a percentage of your performance. So within, if you're working in finance, it might take you about 10, 15 years to reach a salary of 8 lakhs when you're starting out on 2-3 lakhs. When SAP, if you're really good, within 5 years, you can reach that target.
Sir, I understand SAP FICO. What about that R/3?
R3?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just getting to R3. So what do we call R3? R3 is basically what we call an architecture, the SAP architecture. Actually, P is 3-tier architecture. Now, before SAP came out with its architecture, everything was in one computer. There was only no concept. SAP introduced the concept of 3-tier architecture. So what is it? A 3-tier architecture contains a system capable of providing a graphical interface. So at one level, you have the presentation layer. A presentation layer is where you will work on. When you sit on a computer and you enter anything into the SAP screen, you are in the presentation layer. That is one layer. Then you have an application layer. The application server includes specialized systems with multiple CPUs and a vast amount of RAM. And then you have the database server containing specialized systems with fast and large hard disks. So this is what an SAP system uses. On the first level will be the person working. He's working on what we call the presentation layer. If he's entering anything and he makes a query or he's entering any data, that data goes through the application layer. And then you have the database layer. Database layer is all the information which you enter into SAP is stored in the database layer. So when you are working in the presentation layer as a consultant or as an SAP user, say you enter an invoice or you want an outstanding statement of a certain customer. So in the presentation layer, you will enter a command and you will ask for the outstanding statement report to be drawn up. That information which you typed in will go into the application layer, which will form a query, and the query will hit the database layer with, this is the information I want. So that is what a three-tier architecture is. It's a presentation layer, application layer, and a database layer. We will go, when you are doing the SAP, there will be a more bigger and more in-depth explanation on this. So R3 is basically a three-tier architecture. Is that clear? Now, what we have in SAP is when we log in, we have what we call clients. So client 0000001 can be used as a basis or a source to set up a new client. Client 066 could be the early watch service. A client is an area in which you will be working in. Now, if you're working with SAP, these are what you will need. Memory, if you're working in Windows XP, you will need a minimum of 1.2 GB. 1 GB or a higher speed of 2 GB. Windows 7, you need minimum of 2 GB or 4 GB. With Mac or with Visual Window environment, I don't recommend anyone uses a Mac computer for SAP. Your minimum of 2 to 4 GB. For disk space, you need at least 145 MB available for your SAP GUI installer program and 250 MB of available disk space to fully install the application. Now, can anyone take a wild guess and tell me what is a GUI? Because this GUI is something that you would have come across in normal life. Anyone?
Yeah, graphic user interface, right?
Right, perfect. So SAP, the graphic user interface will take up about 145 MB of disk space. The full SAP program, if you try and load it onto your computer, will take about 250 MB. 250, the application will run. The software will not be on your laptop. But you'll need, this is the application that, or call it an exe file, that will take you through SAP, which will be on some other server. So 145 and 250 minimum requirements. Now, SAP, when a company like SAP, they call themselves the enterprise resource planning softwares. So an enterprise ERP is basically an enterprise resource planning, is a software that is built to organizations belonging to different industrial sectors, regardless of their size and strength. So when we talk ERP, we are not talking about an accounting software. We are talking about a software that fully integrates a company. It's an enterprise resource planning. So what is an ERP? An ERP is a system will help you to manage just about every aspect of your business. You will have supply chain management. You will have financial You'll have manufacturing. You'll have big data analytics, business intelligence, project management, asset management, human resource management, sales and marketing, service management, customer relationship management. And ERP system is a fully integrated and gives you will have most of these features. These are some of the features that SAP offers. So are you all clear on what an ERP is? Okay, because don't confuse an ERP with an accounting software. Some small accounting software that will help you generate reports is not considered an ERP. An ERP is something that has to add value. It should be a little bit predictive. It should help you make financial decisions. Now, business process integration. Business process integration, BPI plays an important role in overcoming integrating challenges that allows organizations to connect systems internally and externally. So what does a business process integration allow? Automation of business processes, integration of systems and services, secure sharing of data across numerous applications, automation of management and operational and supporting process. Can someone give me an example of a business process in the GL area? Would anyone be able to give me an example of a business? If I say business process, what would you tell me? I said, explain to me what is a business process. Would anyone like to try?
It could be any transaction that's been processed, right?
No. Okay. Now, this is where, when we are looking at business, we look at it as transaction-based or process-based. Transaction-based would be entering an invoice, requesting a quotation, making a payment. These are transactions. When I put a lot of transactions together in a particular sequence, say order to cash, like for sales and distribution, a customer wants something, he places an order. Based on the order, I supply the customer. So first the order is placed, then an invoice is prepared, then the goods received or acknowledgement is there, and then I receive payments. So that is order to cash process. Or purchase to pay. I purchase something from vendors. So first I ask vendors to give me quotation. Based on the quotations, I choose a certain vendor. I said, okay, this is the person, his price is right. I will order the material from him. Once he sends me the material, I will receive the material. I will receive the invoice from him. I will pay the invoice. Now, this is a process. Integrates a number of transactions and steps. That is what you call a business process. All right?
Yeah, great.
So many companies which you'll work in, when they even set up their departments, they do not set up their departments as AR, finance, or payables. They will set it up on business process basis. So they'll have order to cash. They'll have procurement to pay. They will have record to report. So when they have order to cash, you will have a finance person working in with that team also. When you have a purchase to procurement to pay, you will have a finance person working over there because payment has to be done, invoices have to be generated, invoices have to be entered. So one is functional way of looking at things, like everything finance will be finance. Another way is by process. Order to cash, procurement to pay, record to report. So when you look at the business process, you're looking at transactions that have been integrated and flow from one into the other. And that is what a business process is. You can have big business process that covers ordering a material to the time you get payment for it. You can have a smaller business process would be creation of, say, a GL master record. So to create a GL master record, some companies will have a process put in place. Where creation of a master record is just a transaction, some companies will put it into a business process. So if you want a GL account created, first step is to fill in a form and get approval for it. Based on the, once you get you raise the request, you get the approval, you create the GL. That becomes a small business process in itself. So you take one transaction can also be turned into a business process. This is a good practice because companies don't want too many general GLs to be open. So many companies will put this in place. If you want a GL created, you will first have to indent for it, get the authorization for it, and then create it. Or if you want to, you just can't go and create a customer or vendor master record. You will first have to apply to create a new customer or vendor. Once you have to get the approval for it. Once the approval is done, only then can you create a customer vendor. Many companies have this as a best practice. They have to do a due diligence check on the customer vendor. They will check the credit rating of the vendor or customer before they get into business with them. So these are business processes.
What sets ZaranTech apart in SAP Corporate Training? It's our unique blend of expertise and innovation. We offer customized courses tailored to each client's needs, ensuring relevant, targeted learning. Our vast trainer database brings you wisdom from the best in the field. Need resources? Access our extensive training material repository anytime. We are all about measurable results, providing detailed student metrics to track progress. And we don't just teach, we build community. Join our thriving social media network, connecting learners beyond boundaries. With ZaranTech, you are not just training, you are transforming your SAP expertise.
So this is an example of a business process running in an organization. On the top, you have material planning and you have inventory and warehouse management. Then you have asset management, customer service, procurement, production, fulfillment, which is selling, life cycle. Then you have financial accounting, management accounting, human capital accounting, program and project management. As you can see, everything can be integrated. Material planning has to be linked to finance in the end. Asset management linked to finance. Procurement, you can buy an asset. Production, you sell. In the end of the day, an organization business process tend to be very linked to each other. What are the benefits of business process integration? One is service integration. Second is simplify operations, lower cost, improve quality, delivery is smarter, standardized workflow, enhance productivity. So, ERP function supports the integrated business process inside an organization, improves capital planning and helps in executing organization plans and strategies, helps speed up decision-making processes over analysis of accurate data, helps extend business network to wider domains, expanding the product and services to reach more customers, suppliers, and partners, identifies operational risk to improve governance, gives long-term profits by providing means to increase the customer base. So ERP has many advantages: time management, automation, visibility, security, integration, reporting, collaboration, forecasting. These are the many advantages of an ERP system. Now, this is going by functional modules. You have sales, purchasing, finance, e-commerce, warehouse management, inventory, CRM, HRMS, purchasing. These are the various modules and areas of responsibility which you have in the ERP system. So what are the benefits of SAP over other ERP packages? SAP is suitable for any business size. It's a global solution. SAP does not provide any redundant functionality. There's no duplication of work done. Provides shorter implementation time and fastest financial paybacks. Constant development in SAP. SAP has kept evolving over the years. It started with 3.6, then slowly went to 4.6, 4.7. From that, it went to ECC 5, ECC 6, then ECC 837, finally SAP Cloud and S4HANA.
So for this training, we have covered ECG 6, right?
Actually, I have worked in all. I worked from 3.6 to 4.7 to ECC 5, 6, EHP 7, and in HANA. If you know ECC 6, you can work in any module.
Okay.
The rest you can pick up yourself. I've also noticed that SAP, when it comes to the material which SAP gives out, if you go on to internet after you take this course and you say, I want to learn a little bit more, you will find better quality of material for ECC 6 than you will find for HANA. Because ECC 6 has a long time, over the years, they have made it, the material is now excellent. HANA has just started, so the material tends to be a bit thin. My recommendations to even the companies that ask me to teach, I said I will train your people in SAP, but I recommend you do ECC 6 and then give them a bridge course that takes them from ECC 6 to S4HANA. So even with Capgemini, when they last batch they recruited, people were trained in ECC 6, not in S4HANA. We did a small little bridge course that took them from 6 to HANA. So pay scales is US. According to this, SAP consultant earns $1.58, $158, 1,58, almost $1,60 a year. This is a year. And at average, the lowest I've see is you'll earn about 75 to 100,000 is an achievable rate after about 5 years of service experience. This actually, because of COVID, this graph which they put up is a little bit out of sync. Because during COVID time, we actually had a drop when not much work was done. But the demand of SAP is always been there. We're just getting more consultants now than we had before. There are more people coming into the field. But the demand has always been good. And the main demand for SAP is not so much as contract. The permanent jobs are always higher than contract jobs.
Just a question, is there a specific reason trend is lower from 2017 to 18? This COVID started from 28.
We all know that it depends on the market. There's been quite a few recessions over the last few years, right? And most countries have suffered. The Euro had their problems, Americas had their problems, Middle East had their problems. Also, the number of consultants coming in are more. When I joined 20 years ago, there was absolutely a lack of consultants. We found it very hard to get people into SAP. Now we are getting them out straight out of college. People are hired and trained in SAP. But still, the job market is still very good. It is. I'll be honest with you. When you are starting out as a fresher, like in any other area, it is difficult to get a job, right? Whether you're in accounts or you're in sales or any field. As a fresher, it's difficult to get a job. But once you're in a job, you have more mobility. You can move around faster. Because everyone wants someone with a little experience. The same is for SAP. So a project manager can earn 1,58,000. This is as per US standards. The job titles are SAP consultant, IT developer, tester, data analysis, BI and reporting professional, project managers, and data scientists. 3 industries which are SAP FICO applications are growing: information technology, telecommunications, operational reports, and analytical business. This is the way you look at your job trends.
So just one question on like when you said when you explained on the R3. So R3 represents the presentation application in the database, right?
Yes.
So does it mean that R1 was only the presentation and R2 was presented?
No. R3 is what SAP devised for the first time is a computer architecture with 3 tiers. First, there was only 1 tier. Everything was in one. So you had the presentation layer, the application layer, the database was all one system. So previous computer systems were just one system. Everything in that one system. After that, SAP came out with a 2 system where you had part of the database and the part was the application and presentation layer was one query the other. SAP came out with this novel way of looking at computer architecture by having 3: a presentation layer where a person would work on. Then you have a layer which is called application layer, which basically queries the database. So things move faster and multiple people can work on it at the same time.
Okay.
Get it? Because it will be faster. Because you're working on the presentation. If you have a question, you'll put the question to the application layer. The application layer will query the database to get the information you want. So it will take faster time because the information you want can be processed faster. This is something you will go into more detail when we are doing the actual SAP course. But for now, you just know that SAP was the one who came out with the 3-tier architecture.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah, SAP is a good career. I myself worked in finance for about 20 years before I came into SAP. So I was in my mid-40s when I came into SAP. And then I worked in SAP for another 20 years until I retired. And after retiring, I can train, I can get contracts because when you're an IT consultant, you never really retire. You always have an options available. Whether it is mentoring, whether it is training or taking small contracts, you will always be in demand.
So in SAP, compared to all the SAP courses, right? So which is the most demanding one out of all the courses, right?
No, each course has its own benefits and own demand. Every course in SAP, every area in SAP has because a company has many departments. SAP is basically for companies, and companies have manufacturing department, sales and distribution, they have CRM, SRM, they have production planning. So it does not matter which department you get into. SAP has a a requirement. But you tend to get into a department which you have an educational or a professional background in. Because if you are in production planning and in FI person, you will have actually no idea of what the production planning and production process is. Right? So you will not be able to do anything much over there. Whereas if you are a finance person, finance comes easy to you. You know the accounting transaction, you know what a balance sheet is, you know the difference between a balance sheet and a profit and loss account. You know how sales tax is to be calculated. So it's basically when you learn SAP as a finance person, you leverage your academic knowledge as well as your experience in the area to work in SAP, which makes you a better consultant. So not having a base knowledge of an area you want to work in is never a good idea, is it?
Yeah, true.
So it depends. Also, when a company looks at a person and looks at you as a candidate, he will say, how can I be sure this person will be a good FICO resource? Well, he's got an MBA, he's got a CA, he's got his graduation, he has worked in an accounts department. So I can safely say that he is grounded in finance. So just remember, when you're an SAP consultant and you are talking to your client will be a finance person. You have to be able to understand what he's talking about. So when he says ROI, you need to understand what ROI is. When he talks, say, straight line method or he said diminishing balance method, you have to know he's talking about depreciation. These are terms we use in depreciation. When he talks of SOX and separation of duties, you need to understand what he's talking about. So having an experience in that gives you a heads up when you're doing SAP.
Sir, I have one question. So compared to the craft,
what are the present software we are using? ECC HANA and S4 HANA is the software, no?
Currently in the market, people are using SAP 4.7. They are using ECC 6. They are using EHP 7. They are using, not that many are using S4 HANA. They are still having to move to it. Like many companies are still on 4.7. It is not a cheap matter to change and to upgrade from one SAP version to another. It's like doing a mini implementation again if you move from one to the other. So some companies are quite satisfied with the 4.7 and are continuing to run it. So right now in the market, you have many SAP systems running, many versions. An upgrade from an old version to a new version could go into millions of dollars. Anyone else?
sir, compared to that graph, so last 4 years, that graph is falling down, right? If there is any new ERP system introduced in our market for SAP competitor,
No. There are no whatever softwares they are all nothing new. Well, let me put it this way. This is not like the latest movie that comes out, everyone wants to go and see. That is not the way a person will go for an ERP. An ERP, they'll want something that is established. No one will go in for a new product when it comes to an ERP. They'll wait to see until the product is established, how well it is doing, and then they'll opt for it. So if someone makes a very good ERP system and comes out with it, it will take him a long time before people put their faith in him. Because people, when it comes to their financial and the way a company runs, you want something established, something that has been there for a while, a proven software. You will not go for something unproven.
thank you.
So come down to it, like any other area or any other career, what you put in is what you get out. In certain careers, you can achieve things faster. SAP is one of those. If you're a finance person and if you're not at the managerial level already, then SAP will be a better option for you. You will be able to get there faster. Or your pay packet will increase faster. If you're an accounts clerk or you're an accountant or you're assistant manager, SAP will help you rise faster in terms of career. But if you're a finance controller or you're a finance director, you probably want to stay in the finance domain itself. So anyone else with anything?
CO stands for controlling, no, sir.
CO, yes.
On that, end user will work or consultant will work on that, sir.
Both work on it. In every module, in everything in SAP, there are two parts to it. There's the there's configuration, and then there's the transaction part. So you will customize the CO module, but the cost center has to be entered by the end user. So an end user will work on all areas, FI and CO. Consultant, SAP consultant will work on all areas. So you'll do FI and CO. There is a customization part and then there is a transactional part. An end user will be in the transactional area while a SAP consultant will be in both areas. He will be doing customization as well as he will be doing transaction, because whatever customization we do, we have to test to make sure it works well. So an SAP consultant will work in both areas, whereas the end user will just work in the transactional area.
Okay, sir.
Any questions?
No, nothing.
Nothing. All right. Well, I think you'll have a base to make your decisions. So think about your careers, and if you're willing to make an effort and put in some time, then SAP would be a very good career choice.